Moses gave them a choice. They didn't choose. Then the law was added. They didn't obey the law. They opened the door. Then the prophets was added. And then Elijah came, gave them another choice. But water and fire, they didn't do it. You know what they did? We spoke about it last week. They said, we want a king. And in wanting a king, they rejected God. But Moses and Elijah appeared on the Mount of Transfiguration, and God chose us. It's not for your choosing. The minute you have to choose, it's your doing, really, because then you've got to give up things. No, He has given up everything, and He chose you. I simply step into it, and I believe, and I receive. So there was the reign of Noah, the reign which came on Sodom and Gomorrah, which was a picture that was fulfilled. Noah, Sodom. So the prophets came. He says in Isaiah 5, God said, I have planted a vineyard on a very fruitful hill. I fenced it around. I built a tower. I built a wine press. And I came tending it, looking for grapes. But it just had wild grapes. What am I going to do? He says, I'm going to tear away the fence. Remember, garden is bride. It means fenced in. Job, he came and stood amongst the sons of God. And Satan accused him. God, and he says, yeah, but God, you have fenced him around. So what God did with Israel, He fenced them around. But what did they do? They just opened the door to rubbish. Now God says, I'm going to take everything away. And verse 24, He comes, He says, I will burn you down. Revelation says, like Sodom, like Egypt. And He compares them with Babylon. Come on, man. Revelation 17:18 says Babylon burned. Go in the history. I've searched. Babylon never burned. But they became what they worshipped. You know, they rebuilt the temple with a Babylonian tapestry right in front of the holies of holies. God says, tear this thing down. They tore it down with their own hands. But when the prophets came warning them, Isaiah, the very next chapter, chapter 6, he saw heavens open up, and he says, oh, I'm a man of unclean lips. The angel took a coal of fire from the fire, which was a picture of Christ, and he touched his lips, and he says, your sins are forgiven. Now, go tell Israel, they will see, but they won't see. They'll have ears, but they won't hear anymore, because now I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And that whole system was taken to Babylon. And 70 years of 7 will be upon your people, upon your city, until the burning down. But Jesus Christ, in the middle, in the fullness of time, in the middle of the last week of the 70 weeks of 7, Christ was crucified, the final sacrifice. Just before He went, He said, what more could I have done for you? You don't want to. He literally gave them. Listen, God hates divorce, but He gave Israel a divorce paper, so He could die for you. Oh, my word. Christ is the end of the law. There is a period of 40 years before the day broke. Because the very night, the minute Judas ate the sop, the darkness of that 40-year day of vengeance broke. But the seed was planted and the kingdom was opened, and nothing is going to stop it. So while it looked like everything was going down, the miracles, the churches, everything was going down, the kingdom was growing. We can't go back to that. We've got to get into the due season.